Okay. Yes, we did. We attended the subcommittee on oversight for January 6th, headed by Representative Loudermilk today. And we had 4 very brave Americans testify to what happened with the National Guard on January 6th and what was happening prior and how they were ready to go. That was the consensus all the way through, that the National Guard was ready to go. They were waiting for the approval to go. So what happened in those 3 hours? Think about all that happened in those 3 hours that they weren't allowed to go. It was a very thorough hearing. They did go longer than they did in the hearing before. They did, Oliver. They did 2 rounds of questioning.
That was unusual.
Yes, it was, because they could have gone longer with why the chain of command was broken down as badly as it was, the opinion of those that were in power with the DOD, in their opinion of the president at that time, and actually the authority they took upon themselves is something those that were in power, questioning what the commander-in-chief had actually said, which was if we need the National Guard, they were on the ready to go. Once again, the left, all they did want to talk about was Trump. They even asked, I believe it was Representative Griffin even asked, let's just even set Trump aside for a moment and just deal with the security failures of that day.
Amen.
And not deal with Trump right now, because y'all can't get over it. And we can't get anything done because they're not actually engaging in a real conversation about the events of that day, because they know damn well that the J6 committee was a sham, and that out of the thousands of pages that they put out, only 46 of it was dedicated to the security failures of that day. There have been many reporters on both sides that have drawn attention to the fact that there was a lot of work done in the January 6th committee that was not published, and it was stifled because all they wanted to make that committee about was Trump, not about the failures of that day. And then they turned around and they did destroy that evidence that they knew was coming out. And they're just prolonging what is coming out. And in fact, that is an obstruction of justice.
That is right there.
And and we keep seeing it. Our people keep getting taken down by it. We see obstruction of justice everywhere we go. But, when our lawmakers are actively doing it, there is no repercussions. And, sometimes I feel like the committee hearings, we all know, is just theater. But today, those brave men came out and, one had actually had a preliminary interview with the J6 community with his lawyers, and he told them what happened. He had been in the room all day. He was there with the people that were making decisions, and every single one of those men that were present said that there was perjury happened when certain people testified in front of the J6 committee, actual perjury. So, I think there should be a follow-up hearing. I think there should be, Oh, I thought you were, oh, no, please.
Well, please.
We've been to lots of committee hearings at this point, and I know today was the first time I have ever felt like I was sorry it was over, because I know that the men that were there to testify had so much more to say, and they were cut off at every turn. One of them tried so hard. He did a good job of getting some information in there, but they did have so much more to say. But I think what people don't think about is what a hit the National Guard took to their reputation that day. There are so many people whose reputations have been hurt and lives have been destroyed, but the National Guard takes pride in what they do, and so they stood at the ready that day to do what you know, what they said, what they are here to do, what their job is here to do. And I believe that they would have been doing the job they were born to do, less than 2 miles away. And they were not allowed to advance or to come over. They couldn't go past, I forget what street it was, but they couldn't go past 9th Street. So, so today was the very first committee hearing I was ever in that I thought, oh, well, it shouldn't be over yet. I mean, usually you go to these things and they go on and on and on. Everybody pontificates for their 5 minutes, and then there's a scuffle, and then nobody listens, and then they leave, and then it's really just quite political theater. And by the time it's over, you're like, you have a headache and you're ready to go home. But today, I was like, I wanted to hear what these men had to say. I wanted to hear more about what they had to say. But I didn't want to hear what Congresswoman Torres had to say.
What did she say to you?
Well, at the beginning, she walked past us and because she don't like us, she doesn't like us. She makes that very clear. And she walked by and said, "Oh, good morning, ladies. I hope you have a nice day," and smirked at us on her way by to the back room where they keep all the special people. And then after it was over, when it's time you go greet the witnesses and stuff, if you so choose or if they so choose. And she came up to me and said that she would like to sit down and talk to me someday. And I just looked at her, I was puzzled, because I was truly puzzled. And I was like, and she said, I think that we have, I think we have a lot in common. And I looked at her again, she goes, "Oh, so no?" And I said, "Well, no, I don't think we have anything in common." And she said, "Well, yes, we do. We both suffered such trauma that day."
The gall.
Well, I'm just saying. So, Congresswoman Torres extended an invitation to sit down and talk with her today at some point. But I've heard her talk, so I really don't want any part of that. So anyway, you want to talk about your court thing?
I do, but I want to name the brave men that testified today. Captain Timothy Nick, aide de camp, D.C. Army National Guard. Colonel Earl Matthews, Chief Legal Advisor, D.C. Army National Guard. Brigadier, I'll get it. General Aaron Dean, Adjunct General, D.C. Army National Guard. Commanding Sergeant Major Michael Brooks, Senior Enlisted Officer, D.C. Army National Guard. And you can get their biographies and everything there. These men really were... Yeah, they couldn't believe what they witnessed and what they've witnessed since. And Chief Sund was also there in the very front row behind them, supporting them. And, because Chief Sund from January 7, 2021 has come out and said that there were failures coming from the very top. And then he was subsequently fired. So, and he was there, and we were able to thank these men in person, because it is important that they know that there is support out there. There's not a lot of whistleblower protections that the left like to give. Some whistleblowers, you can ask Kyle Seraphin and Steve Friend that, because they're not afforded many of the protections that whistleblowers are to be afforded. So that was today. You can go to C-SPAN and see the recording of that. There's so much good information that came out today. Really upsetting, but people need to know.